Good morning, go-getters. My computer's dragging a little bit, so hopefully you are not seeing that drag. But I wanted to get on here really quickly and talk to you today about some secrets that I have learned over the years in social media that I want to share with you today. And I'm going to share my screen and maybe turn off my video so that you can see um, what I'm talking about. So I just want to talk about one thing today that might really help you in what you're doing online and just in talking to your customers and clients online. And so let me know if you can hear me and if everything's going okay. So you can just post in the comments. I'll be able to see if you have responded to me. But yeah, my computer is a little laggy, so we shall see how this goes. I do have another one open here, so I may do a switcheroo somewhere in the middle, but I wanted to share these slides with you. So I really want to talk to you about this one thing, which is this idea that using social media as a vehicle to connect and invest in your ideal customer will help you to build a community of what I call true fans who will support your business through abundant and lean times. So I know a lot of us are going through lean times right now, but we also have abundant times that we go through. So how do you find clients and customers that are going to be able to do that for you? Thank you, Walter. You're making me feel better because I'm looking at myself and it looks pretty laggy on my end. So thanks. So this is the one thing that I really want to talk about today is this idea that you can use social media as a vehicle. Now, social media itself is not any sort of magic bullet. It's simply a vehicle that you can use along with email and personal connections and conversations and all of those things. So this idea of social media as a one thing, as a vehicle, is something that I really want to talk about today. And I've got these 3 social media secrets that I've used over the years and I want to share with you. So here's the first one. Secret number 1. And that is this: most social media success doesn't happen online. Oh, did you know that? That social media actually is, while it is an online thing that you're doing, and it is a great way to get attention and bring new people into your sphere, the success that you have on social media doesn't always happen online. And here's a funny story I want to tell you. Ooh, and now it's going to talk to me. Sorry, that's my phone. So that idea that most social media success doesn't happen online was something that I learned kind of early when I started blogging in 2005. I had really had a hard time at first getting any attention or anybody to come read my blog posts and give comments and do all those things. And so I really wanted to, get a community around myself that, we could go back and forth. And what I noticed is that people were leaving really great comments and blogs. And I decided, you know what? If people aren't going to come to my blog, why don't I take a little bit of my thinking out there? So I made a real effort that every single day I would go to somebody's blog post that really, something that hit me. And I would leave long comments, like really detailed comments about what my thoughts were on it and sort of how grateful I was that they'd done this and sort of what it made me think. And I would add to that conversation. Now, they didn't have to be like paragraphs, but I mean, I'm just saying when I say long, I mean not, hey, great post, because hey, great post really doesn't help the people that are creating that content. They're, if you're a content creator, which I am, if nobody comments on your content, you feel like nobody's listening and you feel like nobody cares. So, hey, Jennifer, how are you doing? Jennifer's on here. Walter's on here. That's awesome to see you guys here today. Over on LinkedIn, if you want to leave some comments, I have the phone here so I can see what you're saying. But anyway, the point is that I went out and I started commenting on other people's stuff. And as I did that, they started to notice who I was and start to recognize me over time. Like Walter, he comes in here every day. And honestly, here you are. And I know who you are now. So I'm like always talking to Walter. And Jennifer, well, I've known you since college. So you're already in. But the point is that, people that create content really do like to have other people consume that content and get something out of it. The idea is that you're helping people, right? That, or at least it is for me. So when I started to do that, when I started to purposefully work through that and tell people what my thoughts were, they started coming back to my blog and leaving comments on my blog. And we had this conversation going through the blogs on the comment section. So here's the funny part. All of that's online, right? So where do you get this secret? Most social media success doesn't happen online. Here it is. Somewhere about, 2 or 3 months into this, I got a email in my inbox from a reply to all email, and it had like Chris Brogan and all these people that, I can't even tell you. It was like this whole group of people that were really well-known bloggers at the time. And they were talking about a specific thing around social media and some things that were going on. And they'd added me to their reply to all email. And what was really shocking to me is I thought, wow, there's a back channel conversation going on here that I never actually knew about. And when they included me in that, I knew that that was a very good tactic. So since then, I've done that by realizing that you need to find who you're trying to talk to online through different ways of talking to them. So you need to show up online to talk to people. And so here's one of the little tricks that I've used. And that is to ask some filtering questions on your profiles. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're at and watching this right now. There may be a way for you to ask some what I call filtering questions to kind of get a sense of who in your audience, your current audience, like of your friends and family and neighbors that might have the same interest as you do or have an interest in what you're talking about. So like I just made a couple of up here for you, photographers. So you might say something like, share your favorite photo that was taken this year. And then other people who are photographers or who like photography will start to share their photos and talk about them. So that's a great way for you to find out really quickly who on your list is a photographer, and then you can put them in a separate list. So on Twitter, you can use the lists function on Twitter, and on Facebook, actually, you can put people into lists on Facebook too. I don't know if you know that, but you can and put them into little groups. And I have tons of groups. I have my Houston peeps. I have my church friends. I've got, all kinds of different things. Inglewood High School, hello, represent. So I have them all in different lists so that I can go back and find them easily and see what the conversations are in those communities. So that's one way to do it. And then the solopreneurs, if you're a solopreneur, you're trying to reach solopreneurs, you could say something like, what's your biggest frustration in having everyone home? What's changed for you? See, for a solopreneur like myself, although I'm not solo anymore, but we are a distributed team and we all work from home. Having everybody in the house is what's different about this current crisis for me. I'm having all of my kids here trying to do school and having my husband here doing his work and trying to balance all of our lives together inside of this house. What is it like for you if you're a solopreneur now that everybody's home? I might ask that question. And then guess what? The people who've been at home before and are solopreneurs will start to pipe up and say, oh my gosh, this is how I'm dealing with this situation or that situation. And so it can give you a lot of insight into who's in your audience, and you can start to segment your audience, because later on, you're going to maybe want to talk to these different people in different ways, and not all of them are going to care about what you do. So, so Walter says he actually started a tape show 5 weeks ago to help people. It goes to your personal page, company page, and promo products group. Good job. So great. Oh, Dana's awesome. Yeah, Dana's amazing. So I'm glad you did it. Yeah, solo represent. Love it, Jennifer. So yeah, Dana's a good friend of mine, as you know. So yeah, I think that, knowing who your tribe is, you've got to kind of go small sometimes to go big. I think a lot of people focus too much on large numbers of people. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So then you can add them to your list, and I'm kind of getting ahead of my slides here, but I have this slide here to tell you some ideas for how to add them to your list. You can use Excel or Google Sheets, Twitter lists, Facebook lists. LinkedIn search is good. You can sort by connection, locations, and companies. You kind of have to have the paid version to put them into a list, though. It used to be you could add notes to people. I think they took that away, unless you're in the paid version of the tool. But if you have the paid version and you want to invest in LinkedIn, that is a good way to make lists. A lot of recruiters do that, but I think it could also be used for content delivery. And then Instagram by hashtags. So on Instagram, it's even harder because people don't have places to go, but hashtags are how you find people there. And you can follow hashtags and so forth on Instagram. So more on that in another point. And then once you find them, you want to serve them. And here's really the important part. You have to have a connection with those people. So you can send them a DM, but it can't be a sales DM. So that's unfortunately what happens a lot. I have it happen on LinkedIn. People say, hey, and they may start really well by talking about something personal. And then they just dive right in like, hey, you might find this interesting link. And I have to be really honest with you, those links are just absolutely crazy. Sometimes whenever I'm in the middle of a cycle, I did this the other day, somebody asked me some questions and I said, well, it happens that I'm launching a course right now called Smart Social Secrets. I'm going to be teaching people how to put together their entire strategy and their online life with social media, all the way from the clarity of their strategy to connecting with their ideal customers, which I'm talking with you guys here about today, to creating the content that goes out there, and then also the measurement and how you pivot on the back end and change. And so she had asked me a question directly related to these kinds of things, like, do you do coaching? She asked me that directly. Do you do coaching? And I said, in fact, I have this course that's coming out, in fact, in the next week. If you're interested, I'm fine, but just let me know and I'll send you the link. I did not drop the link. Even then, when she asked me for it, I didn't drop it. And she came back to me, yes, I'm interested. Give me the link. And so then I gave her the link. And that's really just courtesy. You don't want to just be selling all the time to people. You have to sell your stuff when you have it, your courses and whatnot. And I'm selling it. Believe me, if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll send you some information about it. But it's important to understand that people are on the other end and you're solving specific problems for people. And your solution may not be what they need. So you have to make sure you understand what they need and then respond to that need based on what they're saying. Does that make sense? I don't know if I just made sense with that, but hopefully I did. And so making Zoom calls, getting on the phone with people, asking questions about things. One of the big questions that I'm interested in is, what is the biggest frustrations or struggles that people have with social media? And that's what I ask people all the time. I'm asking you, what is the biggest struggle you have with social media? Those are the things I want to understand, because that helps me to make content that's totally and completely relevant for the people who are listening in. So that's kind of where it goes. So find out what your ideal client is suffering and then create content that answers those questions. See, I just did that without that. Oh, going back. Oh, I'll skip this one. This is a good one. Maybe I'll take an entire live stream maybe in the next couple of weeks to do that persuasive language one. There was a new study that just came out that's really fascinating, but I want to make sure I've got a 9 o'clock, so I got to get off here pretty quick. So secret number 2 is bigger isn't always better. And that's really what I was telling you before. Go small to go big. And here's the thing about that I think a lot of people are struggling and they're saying, I want to go have thousands and thousands of fans. I see this especially on Instagram. Get me to 10,000 fans so I can have that little swipe up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear you. You want that swipe up. By the way, you can buy that swipe up with an ad. So it's not that important. I mean, you can pay, $5 to get the swipe up. Okay. So let's just be realistic. What you really want are people that are invested in you and what you're doing, and you're invested in them in return. So that's the two-way street of what I call public relations. I've been in public relations for, I don't want to tell you how long. Jennifer, we don't want to tell them when we graduated from college, but I've been doing PR ever since I graduated from college. And one of the big hopes is that you would have a two-way conversation with people. And social media was why I got excited about it, is because it actually gives you the opportunity to get there, to do that. And so bigger isn't always better. And back in, I think it was 2008 or maybe earlier, Kevin Kelly, who is the editor of Wired magazine, came up with this concept that you needed 1,000 true fans. And here's why. I just did the math underneath for you. If you have 1,000 true fans that are willing to spend about $200 per year with you, then you have an income of about $200,000 a year. Now, that's not going to be great to run a whole company off of, but for an individual income, it's not bad. I mean, most people, I would dare say, could live off of $200,000 a year. Could you live off of $2,100 a year? Respond. So there you are. So I would say 1,000 true fans, are really what we're looking for. And we can start that 1,000 with 10 fans and 100 fans and so on. And if you have customers that have larger budgets, I mean, so just take this for a company and change it around. 1,000 fans that spend, $20,000 a year with you, which would be a lot of money for a company. So I'm just saying that it works pretty well for scaling as well. So I have this engagement formula we use called the 2+2 engagement formula. You can grab it on Communities That Convert, episode 119. I'm not going to run through it now, but it is absolutely point for point. Madeline and I lay out how you can do that in this episode, and we go into more depth. So if you're interested in that idea, there you go. Just go over to communitiesthatconvert.com/episode 119. I believe it's actually pretty linked already. So here it is: commit to 2 conversations per day and commit to 2 replies or comments per day. That's pretty much what it is. And it's pretty much that blogging strategy I told you that I had way, way back in 2005, but for social media. Okay, secret number 3. Oh, I love this one so much. You cannot make everyone happy. I think, there's so many things I haven't done in my career because I was afraid I was going to upset someone. And here's the funny thing is it doesn't really matter because you want to attract the people to you that are meant to be your 1,000 fans, and you want to repel the people that aren't. I'm not saying go out and frustrate people on purpose or be a troll. I don't mean that. What I'm saying is that you're going to hear a lot of advice. You must do this and you must do that. And really, in the end, what you must do is what your clients and customers need you to do. So the more that you know about what your customers and clients need from you, which really includes those one-to-one conversations, the more that you're going to be able to deliver to them. And so you can't make everyone happy. And I love this Bree Designs. She's a really great social media manager that I've been following for a little while because I kind of found her through this idea. She does these carousels on Instagram. And one of the things, if you go and do any research, everybody will tell you, well, these carousels on Instagram, they're great, but they don't get much engagement. They're not that great. Well, she kind of flies in the face of that. And she does 2 of these carousels per month. And she does them as a how-to kind of sequence. And then she sends them out to her audience. I think she's clearly emailing them and sending them back to Instagram to look at these, which is awesome because it's showing you how you can use these 2 things together. And she doesn't have a huge following. It's not small either. But the idea is that she is catering to the people that she needs to serve. And they love it. And so I'm just saying, don't worry about what the stats say and what people say. Do what your clients need, and they will support you and love you for it. So how to be different. So I'm just going to say that the biggest part is that you want to be different. So know your customers, don't follow the crowd, and know when to pivot. And that's my 3rd secret. So those were the 3 secrets I had for you today. I did want to really quickly show you, because tomorrow, speaking of pivoting, I am doing a masterclass on how to pivot your business using social media. And that is a part of what we've put together for the Smart Social Secrets course. So you'll learn, oops, I just put that back on there. You'll learn a little bit more about the course too in that moment. So I'm going to have to grab the link for you, but if you want the link, that's fine. I'm going to show you what it's about. I do have it on my Smart Social Secrets page on Facebook right now as an event, just so that you could find it easily. And really quickly, I could probably send out the link, but it's a basic link. So if you are interested in this, please let me know. I will put the link in the playback of this, but let me know DM too if you want to get a registration link for this. Just DM me wherever you're at. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you're on YouTube watching this, which I kind of doubt, not many people watch this on YouTube, but it's on YouTube too. I'll put the link in there too in the comments section, and then you guys can come if you want. But it's a free masterclass. I'm going to actually, I challenged myself to come up with pivot ideas for businesses that you would never imagine could be pivoted, like dentists and massage places and stuff like that, you think, how can they pivot right now? Because it's crazy. So I have actually found pivot ideas for all of these kind of different careers. And if you come, I will be happy to answer your pivot questions too. And if you have a hard one for me, you can put it in the comments here, and maybe I'll address it tomorrow during the live stream. But that's actually going to be on different platforms. So you're going to have to, like, it's not going to be live streamed like this. So I will send you those details if you want them. And it's free tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Central Day. Are we in daylight? I don't know. Central time, wherever you're at. It'll be 1 hour, plus or minus. Or more if you're overseas. And so that's where we're going to be. And so I'm excited to share all this stuff with you guys. I've been just creating content like crazy. I know you've noticed. And then the next time we're going to be getting together next week, I will probably do pivot part 2. But tomorrow is the big day for this. And there's I think 100 people registered for that already. So I would love to have you there too. Anyway, all right, I'll talk to you guys later, and have an excellent day.